YouTube. This is Will from Will Development. This is my 225th weekly update. I'm in Studio B this week, and I will also be, very excitedly, filming a bunch of review videos that I've been promising for probably a year and a half now, but little quick tidbit about reviews that I do. I tend to like to use the product / own it for at least a year or so before I do a review on it. I don't see the point in like unboxing videos, because if a product is good, an unboxing video is not going to tell you if it's good, and if it's shit, it has to be really shitty for you to realize it's not a good product. You know, I mean, if you open the damn thing and it tears, you just take it out of the box, you know immediately it's shit. But just because it looks good and feels good out of the box doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good product. So in general, I like to wait about a year to really give you an actual idea of the quality. And most of the things I review are, obviously it's you know, training oriented things, but I beat the hell out of them. I don't treat them good. I don't treat nothing good. I don't treat them well at all. And the reason is because, you know, if I'm paying for it, I don't see the point in babying shit that's going to break anyway, if that makes sense. Like a car, I expect a car to last, you know, 5 years or so, depending on how much you spend on it. You know, I only buy used cars, so I always expect them to last, give or take 5 years before a particular problem comes up where I can't afford to, it's not worth it to repair it anymore. You know what I mean? If I, you know, blow a valve cover, you know, something like that, it's like, you know, there might be some other internal engine issues, you know, tire, you know, rod breaks inside, piston rod breaks, you know, rings seize, you know, things like that, really expensive repairs. I don't bother. I don't know why I'm talking about cars. People don't give a shit. But the point is, knee sleeves, I don't expect them to last forever. I only expect them to last maybe 3 years before I need a new pair, give or take, because I don't use them all the time, you know, that kind of thing. And usually after a year, you can tell how long something's going to last. So I'm just putting that preface out here, so when you see it, I'm not going to talk about this long explanation of, you know, durability, or how I'm going to be as fair as I can be, as unbiased as I can be. Obviously, I'm going to have bias because I'm human, but I'm going to do my best to be as fair and unbiased as I can be. I don't really like the word fair, because what is fair, right? There's too many perspectives. But unbiased as I can be, just objectively looking at it and saying, this is what I paid, this is how long I've had it, I treated it like shit, and here's how it held up. You know what I mean? Here was my experience with the company, because I'm going to talk about that too. I'm going to talk about my experience with the company as well as the product itself. So look forward to those. They'll be coming out in the next month or so. I plan on filming them tonight, editing them this weekend, and then just having them ready to roll. They probably won't come out next week, but maybe the week after that, and I'll actually promote them a little bit on Instagram, i.e. letting people know that something's actually coming out. Thank you for sitting through that little spiel of mine onto what you actually give a shit about. If you're not watching my 2 videos, my TWO videos, my The Week of videos, I recommend you start watching them this week, because they're actually starting to get... It's not that they weren't good to start with. It's not that I'm not proud of them. I understand the numbers that I'm moving in the last 5 weeks haven't really been anything to really boast about. But that's not what this is about. This has always been about reality, the reality of my training, and the reality of what's happening with me as, you know, a person with a heart condition who picked up training, who is now trying to become, you know, a strongman, that kind of thing, who's also a natural lifter, that kind of thing. That's what all this has always been about. So in that spirit, look, there's not every single video that comes out is not going to be perfect and beautiful, but that's reality. This week, however, things are starting to look better for me, and I'm actually starting to become happy with how things are progressing. I happen to hit a new PR of 150 press for 3, strict press with sick-ass range of motion. The 3rd rep, I ended up holding locked out a little too long, and it got in front of me a little bit, so I get a little wonky in that particular video, but it wasn't a lack of strength on my part or anything. It felt good. It felt strong through the whole thing. I'm getting so close to being back to where I was with my deadlift, sad to say, almost a year ago before I got injured. But I'm there this time with no pain. Like my back feels tight, but it's like a good tight. It feels like strong, tight. The good tight. But I'm not in pain, which is good. I'm going to try my best. I hate the word try. I'm going to do my best to get more footage of my squats, because my squats are even starting to be respectable in my mind again. They're actually becoming closer to where they should be. I mean, I've squatted 420 in the past, and everything just went downhill. That's just how it worked. I went all the way back down to 135, and even that was causing me pain, and I had to rehab everything. And I basically just rehabbed it by just doing the normal stuff I was doing, but actually paying attention to good form. It's a hard lesson to learn, but I've learned it now, and essentially now in my training, if form is breaking down, there's an acceptable loss for me. I'm not going to stop a set of 4 or 5 reps because rep 4 bent just this little bit, bent 4%. If it bent 20%, yes, I'll stop. I'll be like, okay, I'm going too far. I need to back down a little bit and try this again. If it's 5%, I think my threshold is probably around 15%. Now, that also includes the caveat that in that 15%, I'm not feeling pain. Let's say I'm squatting and I go a little bit lower than I like to, and my, hips end up rolling underneath me. If that doesn't hurt when I do that with particular weight, I'll keep going. There's no problem there. And I'll use it to try to stretch out a little bit more. That way I can get better depth. However, if I roll under, if the hips roll under and I feel the pain, I'm not going that low again. And usually my hips only roll under when I go actually past parallel by a little bit. I don't tend to go ass to grass with my squats. I'm not saying there's not a purpose to that. A longer range of motion is going to, in general, recruit more muscle, i.e. more strength, or hypertrophy, depending on what you're doing. But there's no point for me to round my hips underneath my body, putting my low back at risk for injury when I don't have to get equal or, even slightly less benefit of it. It's a risk-reward thing. Is the risk of me hurting myself by going too low worth the potential reward of strength gains? And for my particular longevity and my particular goals, no, it's not. It's just not. I mean, I'll get into a deep squat with an Atlas stone, on my lap, and I'll be doing a very, very ass to grass squat, front squat with, that. That works just fine for me. Squats and strongman, there's not a lot of them, and when they are, I mean, it's usually not that deep anyway. So it's one of those things. But I am going to start getting more footage of my squats because they do look better, and they're finally getting back to in the 300s where they should be. They should be higher. They should be in the high 3s for rep work, that kind of thing. Not necessarily rep work. For working sets, they should be in the high 3s. But, I've moved past all that kind of stuff. It is what it is. I'm where I'm at. But everything's getting better. I highly recommend you start watching those videos because everything this week went very well. And I hope you look forward to the new review videos. I can actually, because I don't like to just do review videos like this, just kind of off the cuff. I like to actually sit down, write out the reviews, and, really sort of plan them out. I don't write them out, too crazy. I just kind of do little quick notes. Let me see if that shows up. Yeah, you see what I mean? It's just little things to keep me in check and okay, this, and this. The other reason I've been putting these off is because these videos are they're gonna take me quite a bit of work to just edit through them. I'm probably gonna talk at a camera for 15-20 minutes each video, and then end up cutting it down to 5 or 6 minutes. It's what's gonna happen. It's gonna kind of suck, but I'm not trying to bitch. I sound like I'm bitching, but in reality, I'm just trying to explain this is part of the reason I've put them off. But the long story short is I got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them mapped out, and I've decided I'm going to do another 5th video as well on my deadlift belt that I purchased. I wasn't going to do it because technically I think I ordered it in like March or something like that of last year. So it's not been a year yet, but I mean, I can tell by how it's been wearing right now what it's going to be like in a year. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean about keeping a product for at least a year before you talk about longevity. Maybe experience would change that, but I'm not going to, personally, I'm not going to, make that statement because I don't have that experience. Let's see, when was this from? March, April, May. So I got it in May of 2017. Oh yeah, so I've had that thing for like 2 years now almost. Whoops. Well, don't mind everything I just said then. I'm an idiot, and don't write that down, but ignore that. I've totally had that belt long enough. You're getting another review. So I got 5 reviews coming out from some general. I'm literally doing a review of a shit tier Amazon belt all the way up to a custom belt. That one may take a while to do. I have a lot to say. I'm going to be talking about knee sleeves. I'm going to be talking about shoes. And actually, that's about all I'm going to be talking about. So be sure to subscribe so you can check out those videos. Follow me on Instagram at Will Development to see my weekly, my week of videos early because I post them all there. Sorry for the kind of long one, but I feel like I had a lot to say this week. Hopefully you were entertained. Be sure to stick around so you can check out the new reviews. I'm not going to tell you what they are exactly, but they should be pretty informative, hopefully. No, they're going to be informative, and they're going to be influential. If you don't stick around and check them out, then what's your excuse?